I'm quilting curves with a ruler. Would you use a 12-inch ruler or a 6-inch ruler?
Hey guys, welcome back to Frances Quilts. Today we're going to take a break this week and probably next week from the mandalas, but number 6 is in process and I can't wait to show it to you. It's looking great. Today I want to talk a little bit about ruler quilting. In particular, whether I want to use a small ruler, as in a 6-inch ruler, or whether I can use a 12-inch ruler. They're very different in how you use them, and I just wanted to try it and see. Now, I have very successfully used my short 6-inch straight edge ruler from Angela Walters. She calls him Slim. And I also have very successfully used a 12-inch straight edge ruler from Angel Oak Stitchery. But my question is, can I do the same thing with curvier rulers? I had a quilt top that I picked up from the Charity Bee and I wanted to try some different things on it. So I decided this particular top, I was going to try using these two different types of rulers. So let's just go see how the test turned out.
All right, let me just talk a little bit about using this ruler. It is a long ruler, about 12 inches long, and I really am struggling with keeping it lined up on the marking line that I want to use right here. But one thing that I'm realizing is that I'm pressing too hard. So when I have this in place and I'm quilting along here, I'm pushing up really hard with this ruler foot against this edge. And what's happening is that it's pushing the ruler away like that. So it's getting off center again and again and again. So I'm trying now to just use a little bit lighter touch. It's easier going one direction than it is the other, but let's just try. Let me just see if I can just use a little bit lighter touch so it's just barely touching the inside of that curve. Now that one was okay. This is where I get in trouble is when I start going around this outside curve right here. That's where I find it hard to do. So let's just try just going slow and just thinking about it. I still push it off a little bit there, but not too bad. Inside curve coming up on an outside curve. Now at this point my hand is out of position, so I have to stop and move my hand down to here. And I'm going to hold on tight here and just try not to push it as hard. See, I still moved it. It's still out of position. Don't know what I do there, but obviously something in that motion is just really hard for me to figure out. Let's do one more here. I'm way out here, but I think that's part of that is piecing, and I'm just going to fix it a little bit there. Bring it down just to straighten it out just a little bit more. That curve will be a little bit bigger, but it's not going to hurt. All right, let's just see what we can do here. Stay loose, Frances. Down here, stay loose. Okay, that section was perfect for a minute there. It didn't stay perfect, but it was perfect for a minute. I'll take that right now. Let's try again. Use a light touch there. So I've got it lined up here. Let's see if I can do this last little section here without having it shift one way or the other. Okay, that one was good. Let's come down to the next one. That one was good too. All right. I just really need to practice using a light touch when I'm quilting with a ruler. Now I'm set up to go back the other direction. Let's see if having my right hand on the ruler and my left hand guiding makes it any easier for me to keep a light touch. Okay, I'm shifting it a little bit there, so I need to lighten it up. That was better. Maybe it does make a difference which side I'm quilting on. That would make sense. Since we are right-handed or left-handed, one side's going to be easier than the other. It'd be good if I actually hit the ruler there at all.
Let's finish up this last section with me just telling you a few of my thoughts about this ruler. I'm finding it extremely difficult to use on my sit-down long arm. I think it would be great on a regular long arm where you weren't having to move the fabric, where you just had the ruler laying across a quilt top that's completely flat. I feel like I spent an inordinate amount of time moving the quilt top around, trying to get everything flat for that 12 inches so I could sew that 12 inches without stopping. I also found it, as you saw, very difficult to keep the ruler from shifting from one side to the other. So for me, with a curvy ruler, I think I'm going to be better off using a short one. So now let's just transition over. On the border, I decided to use a shorter ruler. This is, again, another Angela Walters ruler. And just play with it and see if it was easier to use. And I definitely found that it was. I didn't have to have my whole area there completely flat. I could just sew and work on the 6 inches that I had going right there. I didn't do this as a continuous curve because this was just easier to do, but I could certainly have done that very easily. I know that it may be a little bit easier because it's on the edge of the quilt, but again, you can see there, I'm able just to quilt through a little section, that one little section right there, without having to worry that there's a hump in the rest of the quilt. So I really believe that for any ruler other than a straight ruler, I'm going to be better off using a 6-inch ruler rather than a 12.
Well, the results are in, and I definitely am not real excited about using a curvy ruler that is 12 inches. I think I just need something that fits the palm of my hand better so that I'm not getting out of position while I quilt. I also think that this ruler may be great on a long arm machine where you're not having to move the quilt at the same time you're moving the ruler. Now, I know you've heard me talk about it before, but if you are thinking about getting involved with ruler quilting, I encourage you to check out my ruler course called Keeping It Straight, 8 Ways to Use a Straight Edge Ruler. I think a straight edge ruler is the easiest thing to start with, and there are just so many different things that you can do with it to build your confidence and get you ready to move on to some of the other specialty rulers that are out there. It opens a whole new world to your quilting. So be sure and check it out. I'll leave a link at the end of this video and then also in the show notes. All right, thank you for joining me today as I did this test between short and long rulers and helped me come to a conclusion. If you have thoughts on this, I would love to hear them. Please leave it in a comment below, share this video with your friends, and if you haven't, be sure and subscribe. Thanks for joining me today, and as always, I look forward to seeing you next time on Frances Quilts.
Remember, if you like what you've seen, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please check out my website and daily blog at francesquilts.com, and I can be found on Facebook and Instagram at Frances Quilts. Thanks so much for joining me. Hope to see you again soon.